All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to praise Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakal Quadash. All right. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right? You are the true chosen people of the book. All right? And we are the Hebrew Israelites, man. We come week in and week out to prophesy the downfall and the destruction of America. All right? Because that's what's getting ready to happen. All right? America in the Bible is known as Babylon the Great. And according to biblical prophecy, Babylon the Great is going to be wiped off the face of this earth by nuclear fire, by thermonuclear destruction in this third world war. All right? So that's why you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, that's who we are out here for. All right? You are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right? And the word is only for the nation of Israel. The word is only for y'all, the Israelites, man. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right? So it's time to come back to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai before he destroys this place, America, off the face of this earth. All right? I'm talking to the elect of the nation of Israel, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right? And not only here in America, but the ones that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. All right? In all these other nations looking like these other nations, man. It's time to come back to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right? Because he's getting ready to wipe this earth away, man. All right? You know, the earth is always going to be here, all right? Because this is where the kingdom of heaven is going to be at. The headquarters is going to be in the land of Israel. When I say wipe the earth away, I'm talking about many parts of this earth is going to be destroyed, but the earth itself is always going to abide here forever, man. All right, because the Israelites are going to rule this planet earth forever and ever and ever and ever, man. That's the kingdom of heaven. And that's going to happen when Yahweh Shai comes back with the angels. He cracks that sky, all right, and raises up his people. All right, the Israelites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, to be kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth once again. And it's going to be forever and ever. And every other nation, all right, is going to be our subjects, our slaves, all right? Just like how we're their subjects and slaves now, it's going to be a complete role reversal. That's what Luke the 16th chapter is about. You understand? All right, so we're out here for you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, because this word is only for the nation of Israel. All right, it was never for anybody else. All right, and matter of fact, let's start off with that. All right, because what I really want to get into today is some history, man. I want to go into the book of Maccabees. I want to, you know, bring out the history, man. All right, but you know, let me start off with Psalms first. All right, let's get Psalms 147. All right, let's start off with that. Psalms 147. All right, it's a scripture I like to bring out all the time, man. All right, so this is Psalms 147. All right, and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Yeah, Jacob represents the nation of Israel. That's who he showed his word to. That's who the Lord showed his word to. He didn't show it to anybody else. All right? And it was never meant for anybody else. The Lord showed his word to Jacob, the Israelites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right? You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You understand? All right? He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. All right? Verse 20, he has not dealt so with any nation. Yeah, the Lord doesn't deal with any other nation. He didn't give his word to any other nation. Nobody can receive his word except the nation of Israel. The word was only given to the Israelites. It wasn't given to no other nation. It wasn't given to the nation of Edom, okay? It wasn't given to the nation of Elam. It wasn't given to the nation of Ishmael. It wasn't given to the nation of Cush. It wasn't given to the nation of Canaan. It wasn't given to the nation of Mizraim. It was only given to the nation of Israel, man. The Lord showeth his word unto Jacob. Jacob represents the Israelites, because the Israelites come out of the loins of Jacob. Nobody else can receive the word of the Lord. You understand? All right. So it says Psalms 147, all right, and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. Yeah, the Lord doesn't deal with any other nation. The Lord deals with the nation of Israel. We're reading it right now. The Lord only deals with one people. He always dealt only with one people. All right, the Lord never changed. All right, because you got these wacky tacky Christians, all right, people with no understanding of the Bible, think the Lord suddenly changed, and now the Lord loves everybody. All right, the Lord is not some fickle being, all right, that just changes. You know, the Lord's not going to be like, oh, I love y'all and only y'all, but you know what? Never mind. I had to change his mindset. You know, now I love everybody. Now the word is for everybody. No, the Lord never changes, man. All right, because y'all like to think that the Lord changed from the New Testament from the Old Testament to the New Testament, man. The Lord didn't change. All right. The Lord was always for the nation of Israel, and it will always be for the nation of Israel and for nobody else, man. All right, so let's read that one more time, all right? Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments to Israel. All right? Yeah, his statutes and his judgments he gave to Israel. It was Israel, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right? You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book, man. All right? The people in the land of Israel today, they're not the real Jews that the Bible speaks of, man. They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right? Verse 19 again, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Yeah, the other nations have never known the ways and the judgments of the Lord, man. All right, because the Lord has never made himself known unto these other nations, man. He hasn't given his word unto these other nations at all, man. All right, so now let's get Amos, the 3rd chapter. All right, let's get Amos 3. All right, let's grab that real quick. All right, excuse me. It says, Amos 3 and 1, hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. All right, so out of all the families, all right, meaning out of all the nations of the planet earth, all right, the Lord only known the nation of Israel, man. All right, he has not known any other nation. He only deals with the nation of Israel, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right, that's who the Lord is dealing with, man. All right, he is not dealing with no other nation. All right, he said, out of all the families of the earth, only you have I known. All right, so when we come out here and preach the word, This is who we are preaching to, man. We're making this word known unto you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right, we are telling you to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai before he destroys this place. All right, because that's what's getting ready to happen. Nuclear missiles are about to fly, man. All right, they are about to fly and hit this place you call America, aka America, which is known as Babylon in the Bible, man. All right, so let's read that again. Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for your iniquity. So he said, out of all the families of the earth, only the nation of Israel he has known. The Lord doesn't know no other nation. He doesn't care about any other nation, any other people, man. All right? The Lord didn't change from the Old Testament to the New Testament like you wacky tacky Christians like to believe, man. All right? Because now you think salvation is for everybody. All right? Salvation is not for everybody. All right? The kingdom of heaven, all right, is going to be restored to Israel, no other nation. They are the only ones that are going to rule this planet Earth forever and ever and ever and ever, man. They are the only ones that are going to be made kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth forever and ever. All right? And everybody else is going to be a subject and a slave, man. All right? Everyone else is going to be ruled over with a rod of iron. The other nations are going to be ruled over with a rod of iron, man. All right? So now let me get Malachi, man. All right? Because a lot of you people like to say, oh, but that's the Old Testament. The Lord didn't change from the Old Testament. From during the times of the New Testament, where were they reading from? They were reading from the Old Testament. Because the New Testament wasn't written yet. The New Testament is based off the Old Testament, man. All right? So now let's get the book of Malachi. All right, let's grab that. All right. The Lord don't change, man. The Lord is not some fickle being, man. So that's the first thing you Christians like to say. Oh, you're reading out of the Old Testament like the Lord changed to something, man. You know? Salvation in this word of the Lord, his word was only for the nation of Israel and will always be only for the nation of Israel. No other nation. You understand? So now let's continue, all right? This is Malachi 3:6, all right? For I am the Lord, I change not. Yeah, the Lord don't change. Ever. Ever. All right? His word, it's already, whatever's already written, it's already written. The Lord's not going to be like, yo, you know what? You know, I know what I said, but you know what? Scratch that. I didn't mean that. You know what? You know what everything I said was bullshit. So you know what? Never mind. You know, I was just kidding. No. The Lord is not some fickle and stupid being, man. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. He is the Most High. Whatever he says, it's final. He never changes it, man. You know? All right? So it says Malachi 3:6, for I am the Lord, I change not. Yeah, I change not. All right? Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Yeah, that's right. That's why we were never consumed. All right? The Lord has always saved a small remnant of the nation of Israel. He has always preserved a small remnant of Israel, you know? Because he had made a promise unto Abraham, man. All right, that his people shall dwell in the land forever. You know, that him and his seed shall receive a land flowing with milk and honey. All right, Because the Lord had wanted to do away with Israel, man. But he made a promise to Abraham, man. All right, Isaac and Jacob, man, that we shall see a land flowing with milk and honey, man. All right, and it's going to be forever and ever and ever, man. You know, that's why we weren't consumed, man. All right, the Lord has always saved the small portion of us, man. All right. Anyway, let's read that again. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. All right. So now let's get James. Let's get the book of James real quick. James 1 and 17. It says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, all right? And cometh down from the Father of lights, which is talking about the Heavenly Father. That's one of his titles, the Father of lights, all right? And cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness. Yeah, the Lord doesn't vary. Going back to the last scripture that we just read, all right? The Lord does not change, all right? We're reading in this scripture right here, James 1 and 17, that the Lord doesn't vary. There's no variableness with the Lord, all right? The Lord doesn't say one thing, all right, and then do another. Or say one thing and then be like, yo, you know what? Never mind. I didn't mean that. You know, now I want to do something different. No, the Lord doesn't change. There's no variableness with the Lord. Like, again, you wacky-tacky Christians like to believe, oh, that's the New Old Testament. The Lord, the New Testament is different. No, it's not. Y'all have absolutely no understanding of the Bible at all, man. You know? All right? So it says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. Yet a man can't receive nothing unless it comes from the Heavenly Father, because the Heavenly Father controls everything. All right? So a man can't receive wisdom, he can't receive knowledge or understanding unless the Lord gives it to him. All right? A man can't receive riches or anything that he owns or has unless the Lord gives it to him. All right? Wealth, poorness, wisdom, knowledge, all right? All that comes from the Most High. You understand? All right? So it says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Yet the Lord doesn't change like the shadow, man. Whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. The Lord doesn't change like the shadows. The Lord doesn't vary. You know, the Lord doesn't change at all. The Lord didn't change from the Old Testament to the New Testament, man. The word of the Lord was always for the nation of Israel, all right, and will always be for the nation of Israel, to nobody else, man. You understand? Salvation was only for the Israelites in the Old Testament, and salvation in the New Testament is only for the Israelites, all right? It didn't change. You understand? All right? You know, I kind of went off into that a little bit, but like I said, I want to go into the book of Maccabees, all right? Because the book of Maccabees goes into the history. That's what I want to get into, man. All right? So let's get into it, man. Let's get into the book of Maccabees. All right? Because I went into it earlier this week. I done a lesson on it, the first book of Maccabees, but I want to bring it out on the highways and hedges. All right? So let's get into it, man. All right, let's get the book of Maccabees, all right? Now, the book of Maccabees is in the Apocrypha, which the Apocrypha is the Bible, all right? The Apocrypha was the books that were taken out of the Old Testament, all right, by a group known as the Bible Destruction, all right? The Illuminati came out with a group, all right? The Illuminati formed a group, all right, called the Bible Destruction Group. It was started by a man named Carl Anton, all right, in the 1700s. All right, the whole point of the Bible Destruction Group was to destroy the Bible, hence the name, the Bible Destruction Group, all right? And they took certain books out of the Bible, man, all right? And they called those collection of books the Apocrypha. The word Apocrypha is a Greek word, means sent away hidden, because that's exactly what they did with the scriptures, the Apocrypha. They sent them away hidden, man, all right? They took them out of the Bible, man, right? Because the whole point, because in the Apocrypha, there's a lot of history, and the whole point was to delete history and rewrite it, man. All right, and it also goes into who salvation is for, man. All right, it tells you straight up who salvation is for. All right, which is for the nation of Israel. All right, because they like to preach that salvation is for everybody, which is not, man. All right, it tells you straight up who salvation is for in the Apocrypha, man. All right, it's only for one people, which is the nation of Israel. But anyway, all right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into this history, man. All right, so this is the first book of Maccabees. All right, the first chapter. All right, the book of Maccabees, the first chapter. All right, verse 1, it says, and it happened after Alexander, son of Philip. All right, this Alexander is talking about Alexander the Great. All right, Alexander the Great. All right, it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian. All right, because Alexander, all right, Alexander the Great was the son of Philip the Macedonian, man. All right, look it up. The Bible speaks true history, man. That's why the Apocrypha was taken out of the Bible, because the Apocrypha goes into a lot of history, man. And the whole point was to delete history and rewrite it, man. All right, because the Apocrypha tells you how the Native Americans came over here to the Americas, man. All right, it tells them who they were. All right, you know. All right, because when you do your research about Christopher Columbus, all right, he was fascinated with a certain book, all right, which is known as the book of Esdras, all right, which is one of the books in the Bible, one of the books of the Apocrypha, all right. And in the book of Esdras, it tells you, all right, that the northern kingdom of Israel, how they fled the Assyrian captivity to come over here to the Americas, all right, here in this book, the Apocrypha, all right. And once Christopher Columbus read that, all right, he figured that's why he came over here to the Americas, all right, because he wanted to see if it was true, if the scriptures were true, all right, that the Israelites were over here in the Americas, man. That's why when he came over here to the Americas, all right, he brought Hebrew translators with him, all right. He didn't just come on this land and stumble upon this land like they teach you in the education system, all right. He just stumbled upon this land and he discovered it not. He knew what he was looking for. That's why he had Hebrew translators with him, because the Native Americans are Israelites from the tribe of Gad, all right. The Native Americans, they wrote and they spoke in Hebrew because they were Israelites from the tribe of Gad. All right, and he figured that out when he read the second book of Esdras, man. All right, that the northern kingdom was over here. All right, they were brought to a land. All right, they came to a land known as the land of Ashtoreth. All right, which means another land, a land that mankind has never dwelt before, man. All right, it tells you that in this book. All right. But anyway, let's continue with the first book of Maccabees, all right? It says, and it happened after that Alexander, this Alexander is talking about Alexander the Great, and it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip. Look it up. Alexander, all right, is the son of Philip the Macedonian. That was his father, all right? And it happened that after Alexander, the son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, all right? The land of Kittim today is Cyprus, all right? That's a Greek island, All right. So it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes. All right, yeah, because after the Persians and Medes fell, all right, who came up? What empire came up? The Greek Empire ruled after the Persians and the Medes ruled. After the Persians and the Medes ruled. Or no, excuse me, after the Persians and the Medes ruled. It says, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that had reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Yeah, so he was the first king, the first ruler over Greece, Alexander the Great. Right? The scriptures are telling you this, man. All right? This is true history, man. All right? So it says, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, because it was time, all right, for the Greek Empire to rule, man. All right, the Lord sets up kings and he removeth kings. All right, you understand? When an empire comes into power, all right, it's the Lord that put that empire in power, put that empire in rulership, because it was time for that empire to rule. The Lord wanted that empire to rule for a certain amount of time, man. All right? Just like how America is ruling. America is the top nation, all right, upon this earth right now. All right? The American US dollar is the top dollar on this earth right now. All right? It's the Lord that put America in power. All right? So the Lord can show his power when he brings it down and destroys it, all right, off the face of this earth by thermonuclear destruction. You understand? So let's continue reading. It says, and made wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, in so much that the earth was quiet before him. Gave Alexander the Great that power, all right, to conquer nations, to conquer strongholds, to rule this planet Earth, because it was time for the empire to rule, all right, and come into power, all right. That's also spoken about in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right. Daniel had a vision, all right, of 4 beasts, and every beast represented an empire, all right. First, there was the Babylonian Empire to rule. After the Babylonian Empire ruled, all right, the Medo-Persian Empire ruled. All right, and after the Medo-Persian Empire ruled, the Greek Empire came into power. And after the Greek Empire fell, all right, the Roman Empire came into power. All right, that he had a vision of 4 beasts, and every beast represented an empire. All right, he had a vision of a leopard. All right, that leopard represented the Greek Empire. All right, and after that, the 4th beast, which is the Roman Empire. All right, all right. So it says, verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. Yeah, so he became proud. All right, he became very proud because he conquered nations, and his empire, all right, became the empire to rule the earth, to rule over all these nations of the earth, because it was his time to rule. Right, he became very proud, but it was the Lord that gave him that power to rule over, for his empire to rule over all these other nations. All right, so let's read that again, starting from the first. Good. All right. It says the first book of Maccabees. All right, chapter 1, verse 1. All right. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, has smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. All right? And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. All right, yeah, so that's the Greek Empire ruling. That's the Greek Empire coming into power, man. All right, it was time for the Greek Empire to rule. All right, verse 5, it says, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. And the Bible tells you, all right, how Alexander the Great died. All right, when you look up how Alexander the Great died, it says that his cause of death was unknown, but the Bible tells you that how he died, man. He became sick, man. All right, whatever sickness it was, all right, he became sick, man. All right, so it says, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them where he was yet alive. Yeah, so after Alexander the Great died, all right, Alexander the Greek died, all right, the Greek Empire was split into four, all right, which was known as the Diadochi, all right, the Diadochi, all right, we're reading about that right now, all right, in the scriptures, man, right, in the Bible, all right, it says right here, it says, let's read it again, verse 6. Wherefore, verse 5, I started at verse 5. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable. All right, these servants are talking about his the four generals that were under him. Because like I said, after Alexander the Great died, all right, the Greek Empire was split into four, all right, which is called the Diadochi, all right. It was split unto his four generals that were under him, all right, which is the Diadochi, all right. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet sick, all right, which is the Diadochi, man. All right, that's also spoken about in Daniel, the 8th chapter, the 8th verse. All right, so matter of fact, let's get that. All right, let's get that. Daniel, the 8th chapter. All right, let's grab it real quick. Give me a second, because my hands are a little cold. All right, not a little, a lot. All right, Daniel 8 and 8. All right, it says, therefore the he-goat waxed very strong, and verse 8, therefore the he-goat waxed very strong, and the he-goat is talking about Alexander the Great, all right, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, talking about Alexander, yeah, he died, he was broken, all right, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of the earth. Yeah, like I said, after Alexander the Great died, all right, his kingdom was split into four, all right, which it was split between the four generals that were under him, that was known as the Diadochi. You understand? So let's read that again. It says, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. Yeah, talking about the four generals that were under him. All right, his kingdom was split among them, which was known as the Diadochi. All right, you could read about it, look up the Diadochi. Matter of fact, let's grab it. All right, Wikipedia. All right, let's grab it. All right, known as the Diadochi. All right, so it says the Diadochi were the rival generals, families, and friends under Alexander the Great, who fought for control over his empire, all right, after his death in 323. Yeah, like I was saying, all right, we're reading that history here in the Bible, man. The Bible speaks true history, man. All right, after Alexander the Great died, all right, his four generals the Greek Empire was split into four, the Diadochi, under his four generals, man. All right. It says the Diadochi were his rival generals, families, and friends of Alexander the Great. Like we read in the Bible, it says that they were his friends. All right, like we just read in the book of Maccabees, right, the 6th verse. All right, First Maccabees 1 and 6. All right, it says, and friends of Alexander the Great fought for control over his empire after his death. All right, yeah, called the War of the Diadochi, man. The Wars of the Diadochi, man. All right, it says, the most notable Diadochi include Ptolemy, the Ptolemy Empire. You had the Ptolemy Empire, Antigonus, the Antigonus Empire, Cassander, the Cassander Empire, and the Seleucus Empire. So these four empires, all right, were the empires that were split into four when the Greek Empire was split into four. All right. So let's continue, man. All right. Let's get it. All right. Let's go back in the book of Maccabees. All right. Excuse me, my hands are very cold. I got no gloves. All right. Just give me a second. So it says, First Maccabees 1 and 1. I'll start at the top again. All right. So it says, and it happened after Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, has smitten Darius, the king of Persians and the Medes, because the Medo-Persian Empire was ruling. All right. But it was their time to fall. So Alexander the Great, the Greek Empire, took over the Medo-Persian Empire. Now it was time for the Greek Empire to rule. All right, this is the same vision that Daniel had. All right, in the 7th chapter, the same vision that Nebuchadnezzar had in Daniel the 2nd chapter. All right, and Daniel had to break down his vision to him because because Nebuchadnezzar didn't understand the vision that he had, the dream that he had. So Daniel had to break down the vision to him, man. And it was the Lord that gave him the knowledge and wisdom that what his vision meant, man. All right, so that Daniel broke it down to him. All right, so it says First Maccabees 1 and 1, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Yeah, he was the first ruler, the first king of Greece. All right, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, in so much that the earth was quiet before him. Exalted, and his heart was lifted up, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die again. All right, when you look up how Alexander the Great died, it says that his cause of death was unknown, but the scriptures tell you that how he died, man. All right, that he fell sick, man. All right. So it says, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, brought up with him from his youth, just like we read in Peter, all right, that the Diadochi, all right, were his friends, all right, his generals, they were also his friends, the ones that were under him, all right, and when he died, it was split among them, the Diadochi, all right, it says, and had been brought up with him, all right, from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive, the Diadochi, and that's also in Daniel 8, read it out. Man, it says, so it says, verse 7, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So he was the king of the empire for 12 years, man. All right, he ruled for 12 years and then died. All right, it says, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place, the Diadochi. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied on the earth. Because the Greek Empire, all right, was the first Edomite empire to come into power. All right, and the Edomites, all right, which is the so-called white race, all right, which is the wicked race that the Bible speaks of, all right? You Edomites, all right, you are the wicked race that the Bible speaks of, you so-called white people. You are the wicked and the devil that the Bible speaks of. And the Greek Empire was the first Edomite race ever in power, all right? So when the Greeks were ruling, when the Edomites were ruling, when they were known as Greeks during this time, all right, wickedness has multiplied on the planet Earth because you are the wicked, all right? The so-called white race, which is the Edomite race, which is the wicked race that the Bible speaks of, all right? When they came into power, came into rulership, when the Edomites started ruling the planet Earth during the time of the Greek Empire, wickedness has multiplied on the planet Earth because they are the wicked. You understand? They are the wicked, all right? So, of course, wickedness is going to multiply upon the planet Earth because they are the wicked, all right? You read about that in the book of Malachi, the first chapter, that the Edomite race are known as the border of wickedness, all right? So, if the wicked is ruling, of course, wickedness is going to multiply upon the earth, just like now. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he rules the planet Earth right now. And that's why this entire earth is vile and wicked and profane and abominable, man. You understand? All right, so let's continue, man. So it says, and after his death, all right, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth because the wicked was ruling, all right? That's why the scriptures say, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. But when the righteous are in authority, all right, the people rejoice, all right? Right now, the people of this earth, they're not rejoicing because the righteous are not in power right now. All right, pretty soon they're going to be in power when Yahweh Shai cracks that sky. But right now the wicked are ruling. That's why this earth is mourning. Everyone on earth is depressed and in sorrow and in mourning. All right, because this whole earth is wicked as hell because the wicked are ruling. The Edomite race is ruling. The so-called white man is ruling, starting with the elite banking families. All right. So it says, let's keep reading, all right? And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surname Epiphanes. Yeah, Antiochus, surname Epiphanes the fourth. This is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. All right, he was a very vile, wicked, all right, and profane man. And during the time of him, when he ruled the Greek Empire, all right, he came out of the Seleucid Empire. All right, he ruled the Seleucid kingdom, all right, which was smack dab in the middle of Syria, all right. All right, he came from the Seleucid Empire, all right, Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth, all right. So it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surname Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of Greece. Alright, so when he ruled the Greek Empire, he brought great hell, very great hell upon the nation of Israel. Alright, he pulled down the sanctuary, alright, the temple. Alright, he stole all the holy victuals, alright, the gold and the silver and all that. He brought very great hell upon the Israelites, man. During the time of the Greek Empire, the Greek captivity, man. When we were captives, alright, under the Greek Empire, the Greek captivity, man. Alright, and that's how the Jews became Hellenized, man. To be Hellenized is to take on Greek customs, Greek ways, and that's how the Jews became Greeks, man. All right, because we weren't allowed to keep our own customs. All right, the ways of the Greeks was forced upon us, man, and that's how we became Greeks. That's why in the book of Galatians, the 3rd chapter, when it says there is no difference between Jew and Greek, all right, it's talking about Greek. It's talking about Jews that spoke Greek. Why wasn't there no difference between a Jew and a Greek? Because they were both Israelites, man. It's just one was had the customs, the old customs of our people, and one had the ways of the Greeks, the customs of the Greeks, man. All right, it's not talking about actual Greeks when it says there is no difference between Jew or Greek, because y'all like to use that verse. All right, you wacky tacky Christians and you people that have no understanding of the Bible, y'all like to use that verse and see the Lord is for everybody. No, the Lord is not for everybody. The Lord only gave his word to one people and only loves one people. He has only known one people, which is the nation of Israel. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right. So it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome, who had reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let a covenant with the heathen. Yeah, so you had wicked Israelites who joined themselves, all right, to the Greeks willingly, man. All right, they forsook their ways, all right, and made a covenant with the heathen, man. All right, it took on the customs of the Greeks, man. All right, and joined themselves unto the customs of the Greeks, man. All right. So it says, in those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. Yeah, so we took on the ways of the other nations, man, and that's how we became Greeks, man. We became Hellenized, all right. We did after the ordinance of the heathen, all right. Wicked ass Israelites that took on the customs willingly, man. They left our ways, the ways of the Lord, the ways of the ways that the Lord gave us to take on the customs and the ordinance of the heathen, man. All right. So it says, then certain of the people were so forward here in that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. Yeah, so they built a place of exercise, a gym, according to the customs of the heathen at Jerusalem. So that goes back to the Greeks, man. All right, because the word gym comes from the Greek word gymnos, which means naked exercise. That's what the Greeks used to do. They used to exercise naked. And they built that type of place in the Holy Land in Jerusalem. All right? As we're reading right now. All right? Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. So that goes back to the Greeks, man. The Greeks used to exercise naked on some faggot shit, man. That's why you got the spirit of certain people when you go to the gym. All right, in the locker rooms, you got niggas naked as hell, just walking around hella naked, like that shit ain't fucking gay. There's a whole bunch of niggas around, and you out here walking around naked with your schlong out, man. Doing some faggot shit, man. You know? It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, all right, physically and mentally, man. All right, they made themselves uncircumcised physically and mentally, all right, because you could reverse a circumcision. I forgot the word, what the word of it is called, all right, but they made themselves uncircumcised physically and mentally, all right. So it says, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. Yeah, you had wicked ass Israelites that forsook the holy covenant, man. They forsook our way, the way of our fathers that the Lord gave us, man. All right, and took after the ordinance of the heathen, after the ordinance of the Greeks during this time, man. We're reading it right now. All right. It says, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves unto the heathen and were sold to do mischief. And that's how we became Gentiles, because we took on the ways of the heathen. All right. That's how we became Gentiles, because the Jews, the Israelites, became Gentiles, man, by taking on the customs and the ways of the Gentiles. That's why in the New Testament, the Israelites were known as Gentiles. All right, those were the ones that received salvation. The Gentiles in the New Testament that received salvation were Israelites that were scattered amongst the Gentiles and took on the ways of the Gentiles. All right, brought up in Gentile customs and Gentile ways. Those Gentiles were Israelites, not actual Gentiles, man. You understand? The Gentiles that received salvation in the New Testament were Israelites, man. All right, they were being called Gentiles because they were taking on Gentile ways. They grew up in Gentile lands, all right, worshiping Gentile gods. All right, that's how we became heathens and Gentiles, man. But Paul was writing to them, letting them know to come back to the Lord, because y'all Israelites, man. You know? All right. That's why when Yahushua was crucified, you had what was written above him, all right, the King of the Jews, and it was written in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. Why? Because you had Jews that were speaking Greek, speaking Latin, and speaking Hebrew, because they took on the customs and the ways of the other nations. They took on the languages of the other nations. You had Jews that spoke Greek because they became Greeks, like we're reading right now. And you had Jews that became, you know, they were Romanized as well. They spoke Latin. All right? You know? Let me see where we at right here. Right, we'll read a little bit more. All right, it says, now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion over 2 realms. Wherefore he entered Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. Which Ptolemy was one of the other generals that were under Alexander the Great. All right, because the Diadochi, all right, they warred against each other. Why did they war against each other? All right, so they could take hold of the Greek kingdom, man. All right, you had the war of Diadochi. After Alexander the Great died, his kingdom was split amongst the Diadochi, but they warred against each other. So you have Antiochus, who's the king of the Seleucid Empire. All right, who came out of the Seleucid Empire. All right, he warred with Ptolemy, king of Egypt. All right. So it says, but Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. All right. Read a little bit more. All right, and after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt and returned again in the 143rd year and went against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude and entered proudly into the sanctuary. Woo! And took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels therein. And so he entered into Jerusalem, man. So during the time of the Greek Empire, man, all right, great hell was brought upon the nation of Israel, man. All right, a great slaughter and a great massacre, all right, was brought upon the nation of Israel, man. The Israelites were slaughtered and massacred during the time of the Greek Empire, man. All right, so not during just this time, but going all the way back to the Greek Empire, the Edomites destroyed us. All right, massacred us. All right, you understand? So like just Ezekiel the 5th chapter says, because thou hast since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. All right, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, blood shall pursue thee. All right, roughly paraphrasing. All right, the Edomites had done nothing but destroyed and slaughtered us, man. Going all the way back to the Greeks, man. They have always been our enemy, man. And even before that, man. All right. So it says, and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crowns of golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. So Antiochus, man, all right, during the time of Antiochus, man, he destroyed our sanctuary, the temple, man, took all the golden vessels off the altar, all right, he pulled down the veil, all right, stole all the holy vessels, man, all right, it says, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude and entered proudly into the sanctuary. Yeah, Esau always been a proud man. All right, proud as hell, man. All right, entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof and the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vial and the censers of gold and the veil and the crowns and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. So he destroyed the temple, man. All right. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Yeah. So he massacred the Israelites, man. All right. Let's keep reading. All right. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, so that the princes and the elders mourned, and the virgins and the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women were changed. All right? And every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness, all right? And the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered in confusion. Yeah, all right? All the house of Jacob was covered in confusion because they were being slaughtered, man. All right? We were being slaughtered. We were like, what the hell is going on, bro? Slaughtered. Left in confusion, man. Great massacre. All right? The temple and the sanctuary was being destroyed, taken down. There was a great confusion in Israel, man. All right? So it says, yeah, all right? And I'll leave it at that, man. All right? So, you know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, all right? Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all right? Raktazah, this lesson was edifying, all right? So I want to say, Kol Haloyim, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakam, Kadash, all right? Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and who well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You Latinos, you Native Americans, you are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right? So with that being said, until the next one, shalom.